Let's go, Carl! First day of speed riding with the boys here in Alaska. France is pretty epic, but doesn't get better than this.
Look at that thing.
I think it is.
Woo!
Hi.
Yeah, boy! Yeah!
Hell yeah! We finally got a break in the weather window to be able to take the choppers up and see if we can find some really awesome speed riding slopes. Now, speed riding isn't your traditional way of recreating in these mountains, so it's actually one of the first times that a helicopter access skiing company has offered speed riding here in Alaska. So while we will be some of the first speed riders to fly these mountains, we want to make sure we're being conservative and flying well within our skill level. And as much as we can talk about how epic our speed riding lines are going to be, these helicopter pilots are the real aviation masters. I mean, the places that they could set us down on the top of these small little cliff peaks was way more epic than anything we do to speed ride.
Wow. River spot. I think that for us to make it to that big open river spot, we're going to need to start flying earlier than we want.
Why don't we pick up down over here? Still do have some clouds doing the thing. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
So in speed riding, we can kind of choose wherever we want to launch. Doesn't even matter if there's a cliff underneath us, but there are some important considerations to factor in. Wind direction is the first. We always want to launch into the wind, and that's because our ground speed is relative to the direction that the wind is heading in. So if we launch downwind, we actually have to be sometimes going twice as fast just to get off the ground because we're moving in a massive air that's moving with us. But if we move against the wind, then we can get off the ground in half the speed. It's all relative to the ground and the air mass that's moving around us. So we chose to launch on this side of the mountain based on where the winds were the lightest.
Yeah. That was amazing.
We'll yell at you if anything. Just holler if it stands up. Copy that. Matt is launching. Yeah!
Woo!
So I was next up to launch after Matt. And while we usually wait for each pilot to get to the LZ, the landing zone, and radio us that they're on the ground before the next person goes, we had this cloud rolling in, and we didn't want to get stuck at the top. Because in Alaska, in the backcountry, if weather rolls in and we can't fly and the helicopter pilots can't come get us, well, we're stuck there until the weather goes away so that we can fly down or the helicopter pilot can fly in. So we didn't want to take that chance, so I went ahead and launched and cruised down this beautiful field of fresh powder, which is probably the most beautiful run I think I've ever done in my entire life, because this is the only time I've ever done helicopter access skiing, which is just such a game changer. And the way I'm riding is pretty conservative here. So with speed riding, you can choose to launch and then re-land back on a slope like this, which normally I would do, and then ski down the backside of this. But on the first run, I didn't know what was on the backside of this, and I've had that bite me in the ass before. So instead of landing and skiing over something I didn't know what was on the other side of, I chose to just keep staying in the air with my skis right proximity over the snow and fly it out. And then come into land right down here at the LZ, having a pretty good visual overview of what to expect with this terrain for a flight in the future.
That was amazing.
Woo! Yeah.
Sick. Nice.
Fortunately, the weather was clearing up a little bit, but we didn't know how long that would last for. So we loaded up the helicopter, got back in, and jumped up for another flight.
You're going to inflate, there's a good chance you get kicked into flight, like almost right away. You know what I'm saying?
When we got back up top, we always look at the terrain we're planning on flying over and do a little bit of a site briefing. Usually Carl leads this because he's the most experienced speed rider here with us and was here last year. So he gave us some beta, we jumped on our skis, got ready, and launched for round 2.
Thank you. Woo!
Nice one.
Nice. Oh yeah. Woo! Woo! Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, boys. Sick.
Oh yeah. Woo!
Nice one.
Nice. That was awesome.
That was sick.
All right, boys. Good job.
That's a taste. Pretty tasty.
How's that heli going? Helicone.
Alright. A little helicopter snow cone. So, despite looking like the blood of a wolf's last victim, that red stuff is actually flavoring for snow cones that we use to signal where we are for the helicopter pilot to be able to find us on a white snowy slope. So I think we finished these flights right in time because the weather started to roll in and we decided to finally call it a day and head back home. But instead of landing back at the lodge we're staying in, we figured we could land on top of the mountain right behind it and just fly back.
All right, guys, remember to clear the landing. Yeah, Matt. Yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
Such a pleasure sharing this experience with you. Let's
Same.
fucking go.
Thanks for putting this together, brother. See you at the bottom.
Get it.
And this is the point where I realized I had messed up, because that road on the other side of our lodge is where I'm supposed to land. And with this glide ratio, I am definitely not going to make it there. So it's always important to have a plan B when speed flying and speed riding. As to where you can set it down, that might not be your primary spot, but another alternative spot if you don't quite make it there. Instead of trying to land on this road right past this helicopter and running into a helicopter, which would not be good for me or the helicopter, I decided to squeeze it in just on the shoreline and try and water ski it out to that little piece of dry land just beyond the rocks. And if I had had another 5 feet, I think I would have kept my boots dry. But I didn't. At least I kept the wing dry, though.
Didn't make that.
Mostly. But overall, awesome day of speed riding here in Alaska. It might be our only one, given the weather forecast for the rest of the week. But even if we don't get to fly more this week, I can't wait to come back and explore so much amazing speed rideable terrain with so much potential.